So today we learned how to use our algebra equations to solve story problems. For example, today's problem of the day used this equation where m is the amount of money equals 37 minus 4.50 times d, the number of days. So I have two questions here that we can actually use our equation to solve. So this question, how much money will be left in 4 days? So the first thing you have to do is think, is the 4 the m or the d? 4 is days and d is number of days, so 4 is the d. So what we're going to do is, to use our equation, we're going to write our whole equation again, but instead of d, we're going to replace that with 4. So we're going to write m equals 37 minus 4.50 times, instead of d, we're going to multiply it by 4. Once we compute all this, we'll be able to calculate what the amount of money will be. So, order of operations says we have to multiply first. So 4.50 times 4 is 18. So we've got 37 minus 18. And if we subtract that, we get 19. How much money will be left in 4 days? $19. I put my units on my answer and circle it. Number 6, how many days until there's only $1 left? So in this case, the $1, it's not days this time. $1 represents the amount of money. That's our m. So we're going to replace m with 1. So when we write out our equation, instead of m equals all that, we're going to write 1 equals all of this. 37 minus 4.50 times d. And notice, this equation is different than the other equation. The first equation has the variable by itself, so we just have to compute and get an answer. This equation has our variable all mixed up with the numbers. So in order to figure out what d is, we're going to have to undo the equation like an algebra equation. So we have to undo our 37, so we're going to subtract 37 on both sides of the equal sign. 1 take away 37 is negative 36. Equals drops down. The 37s undo each other. Negative 4.50d drops down. And to undo that, we're going to have to divide both sides by negative 4.50. And negative 450s undo each other. D drops down. Equals drops down. And negative 36 divided by negative 4.50 is positive 8. So how many days until there's only $1 left? 8 days. Put units on my answer, circle it, and we're done. So, notice the difference between the two. If we're given the independent variable, it's easy to calculate. We could just do the computation. If we're given the dependent variable, finding the independent variable is a lot harder, and we're going to have to undo it using algebra. You know me, I do expect you to show all your algebra work, so make sure you do it and do a good job.